Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Iamsorryk, and he is in the Großer Kurfürst, the tier 10 German battleship. He is on the Northern Lights in a 4-point domination game mode, and when the friendly team just sank an enemy destroyer, which is a pretty good start. Now it's obviously a tier 10 battle, there is no carrier around, there is plenty of raider and 3 destroyers per team. Now the friendly Worcester already used his raider to great success, and that got them friendlies rid of an enemy destroyer. Unfortunately, the enemy was capable of taking the sea cap. There wasn't really much I suppose the friendlies could have done, like the enemy team has a Z-52 here. Maybe the Salem could have gotten close enough to get raider in there, but he is too busy insulting people in the chat and complaining that he is pink because in an earlier game allies sailed into his torpedoes. Honestly, if you fire torpedoes, it's your fault. Like, it's your responsibility to check that no friendly is in the way. It's not your team's responsibility to dodge your torpedoes. But be that as it may. Iamsorryk is slowly approaching the decap here. There is... well, I mean, it's still the smoke from the destroyer that sunk. We know where the Z-52 is. I don't think we know where the last destroyer is though, and that Z-52 could have easily gotten around here. Now somebody is in the process of capping, so he got his hydro here running to make it easier to dodge torpedoes. Oh, okay, so it looks like a Yamato is trying to take a cap. That's a bit surprising. It's unexpected for sure. But you know, fully broadside Yamato, obviously 2 overpens and a bounce. But this Yamato is in pretty bad shape because he's pushing too aggressively in way too many ships. So that might give the friendlies another ship advantage here. Now the Yamato is at least angling, so he's got that right. But I mean, the Yamato is in a brawl with a Kurfürst, and that's not what you wanna do in a Yamato. Now it looks like the Z-52 is actually on its way towards the other side, so... oh, and the Kiev is spotted. So no unexpected torpedoes should be coming around here. That's good news, I suppose. There is a Salem sneaking around. It's probably ending bad for the Salem. Like, I mean, this Salem can technically create crossfires, but he's still just a cruiser and he's facing an awful lot of ships. And he comes around sailing here fully broadside. This Salem is probably pretty soon going to be a submarine. Now, Iamsorryk is completely aware of that Salem arriving and he is prepared, the guns are pointed, and let's see what he can do to a broadside Salem. Well, that wasn't too exciting now, was it? I mean, the German battleships are not known for very accurate guns, unfortunately. They are, though, known for the brawling, and... oh, there is a citadel, that's nice. So what is also a bit unfortunate is that the battleships here on the left side are coming over here. Like, I don't think the friendlies need too much reinforcements at the decap. What they need is the Fletcher coming here to take the cap once the Yamato is gone. Obviously the Fletcher can't get in here, as long as there's a Yamato. And that Salem that's still floating might also be a problem. But, well, I mean, the Salem is in retreat, and hopefully a friendly team can catch that Salem before he gets away. Now the Yamato is dealt with, the friendlies, I guess they are dealing with the Salem quite efficiently here. And then the Fletcher should already be going towards the decap. Now the friendlies can finally actually capture something. But they'd also need to be concerned of protecting B. So I'm not sure why this Friedrich and North Carolina are coming this way. Like, one North Carolina here is already pretty close. He could push in here together with Iamsorryk. But like those 2 battleships, they should probably be more interested in the other side and helping this Republik over there. I'm also not quite sure what the friendly Salem is doing here. Like, if you are a raider cruiser, you might want to try to stay a little bit closer to points where your radar is actually useful. Now I get that he wanted to engage this Salem, but he could have done this in a more aggressive way. It's not like he was too threatened here from the north. But anyway. So, the problem of course is that battleships taking the decap is probably not going to happen because there are still defenders around and the ships will constantly be reset. But he can push in here and maybe he can even deal with the booster. We don't know where the booster went right now, but that would certainly make it easier for the friendly destroyers. Now there are still some friendlies trying to protect the B-cap. It's also very fortunate there are some enemies that just aren't following his push. Like if all of the enemy forces on the left side would push the B-cap, it would be pretty dire for the friendlies. But you know, it looks like the enemies aren't that map aware. Let's put it like this. So, well, we have 3 battleships pushing in here and the Fletcher is... Well, the Fletcher is on its way. Now the Fletcher will probably be the one who actually ends up taking the cap. And again, maybe the enemy focuses on one ship and they let a battleship capture, who knows. Now Iamsorryk is, well, he's staying inside the cap circle. He's also careful that he's not overextending here too much and pushing too hard into all of those ships. He wants his friendly battleships here with him. Like, they have a reasonable pushing force here against the enemy. Now meanwhile the B-cap is being lost. I'm not sure why the Republic went towards that zone wall. I think he should have stayed closer where the Henry and the Großer Kurfürst are. But I guess he's trying. Now we are already up to like over 150 secondary hits here. And that's obviously where a Kurfürst shines, if you can get those secondaries to go. Now the cap here is secured, the battleships here are pushing in the friendly ones, and obviously as a Kurfürst he is with them. Now thankfully, like this, well, I mean the Bismarck would be pretty low, so it would be nice to take care of her, but the Bismarck seems to be behind an island here. And again, I think he can actually engage the North Carolinas. So let's see, if this Iowa keeps pushing in a little bit further, then we might get some citadels against the broadside Iowa. Now one of the downsides of the Kurfürst is very bad angles for the rear turrets, and that's kind of a shame. Now, the German battleships are known for their citadel protection, like because of the turtleback armor you can't really citadel them in the broadside here, but you can still get a lot of damage against a German battleship if you penetrate the upper belt. So if you show broadside to use all of your guns, you might not get citadel, but you will still eat massive amounts of damage. And well, I feel like that was unlucky. That could have easily been citadels against the Iowa, but anyway. So, it looks out, well, it looks like the friendlies are actually turning this around here quite nicely. Now they are still behind on points, but that push here was pretty successful, and it looks like on the other flank, they dealt with the aggressive enemy forces. It's very fortunate that like 4 enemy ships decided to not really participate in this battle. Like, if all of those enemies would have pushed the B-cap earlier on, then they could have taken care of this Henry the Salem, possibly the Großer Kurfürst, and the friendly forces here would have been in no way to help with the push in the north. So yeah, and with the Großer Kurfürst taking this cap, like the enemy team still has a points lead, but there is a lot of time left and the enemy team will run into problems because they just don't have the ships. And they don't have the destroyers anymore to get the caps back. Now the friendlies can also take B without problem. And then they can just corner those ships. Now at this point there really isn't much left to do other... Well, I mean, you could argue that with the friendlies getting an advantage here they can play it more passive. But at this point they can, I think, just push into those last remaining enemies and just take care of them. One thing to keep in mind is this Republic. So if Iamsorryk just pushes directly into those enemies, he risks giving his broadside to the Republic, depending on how far he pushes. There is also this island, and I'm not sure where the Republic is going. So it might still be okay actually. For now we have a Stalingrad to shoot at. And unfortunately a front turret is damaged, which severely limits the firepower here currently. But it's not worth a damage con. Now the last heal is going, and well, I mean, the Kurfürst is getting somewhat low considering that he is also on fire. But it's alright, like this battle is looking pretty nice. He is leading the charge, he has quite a bit of firepower here helping him. And he is once again in secondary range. We are up to about 300 secondary hits right now. Let's see how much we can get, shall we? And oh, there seems to be a little booster poking around here. I'm not sure, maybe he could get some shells into this booster, but currently he's focusing on a Stalingrad that's coming this way. That was a very nice hit against the Stalingrad. Now, of course, Stalingrad's guns can be very dangerous as well, so if they have a broadside to... Like, oh, the Stalingrad's guns aren't pointing this way, never mind. And he's fighting against his own turret traverse. That's a little bit of, let's say, bad planning. Like, if you know that you are going to, in a broadside situation, you have to preemptively turn your guns and then shoot basically at the right moment. But also, Iamsorryk said that this was, I think, his second tier 10 and he's still rather new to the game. And I know I've screwed up those, well, broadside sail-bys, or however you want to call them, myself quite a bit. Now he's almost up to 200,000 damage and has not gotten a single kill yet. Maybe that can change now, let's just see. There is a high caliber. And well, a single over penetration, but the secondaries are still happily going. Now let's see, is the rooster turning? There's some potential in that salvo. Well, that potential remains unrealized, I guess. So we have some more shells on the way. And there's a kill. Now all that's left is the Gascogne. And the friendlies are basically closing in from every side. And Iamsorryk is still floating. He might be down on heals, he might be on very low health, but he is still floating. Now let's just see what he can do with this last battleship. I mean it's entirely possible the enemies get sunk before he actually comes around this island. It's also possible that he sails around here fully broadside on. So, what do we get? Enemy battleship is closing in fast. I mean, I'm sorry, he's fully broadside himself, but it doesn't. If he sinks here, who cares? And, well, nice salvo, but no kill. And here we are with the results. Iamsorryk earned himself a fireproof at Dreadnought, had a high caliber, scoring 227,000 points of damage. He also got 460 secondary hits. Now that's how a Kurfürst was intended, I suppose. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.